data present everywhere. So to deal with the data, we need to know language called as SQL, structured query language. And in this course, I'm going to cover everything that you need to get started with SQL. So before we get started with the video, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, then please do it now. So let's get started with the video. SQL stands for Structured Query Language and it is used for querying the database. अभी querying का मतलब क्या है? आपको कुछ manipulation करना है. Manipulation in the sense आपको कुछ insert करना है data या फिर store करना है या फिर delete करना है या फिर आपको कुछ database ही delete करना है या फिर create करना है. और अगर आपको जो ऑलरेडी प्रेजेंटेड डेटा है उसको कुछ अपडेट करना है, अल्टर करना है या फिर जो ऑलरेडी प्रेजेंटेड डेटा है उसको रिट्रीव करना है, उसको एक्सट्रैक्ट करना है, तब आप जो लैंग्वेज को यूज करते हो उस डेटाबेस पे उसको कहते हैं एसक्यूएल, स्ट्रक्चर्ड क्वेरी लैंग्वेज. So SQL is a standard language for storing and manipulating and retrieving the data in the databases. So whatever operations I just mentioned, those we will be carrying out on the databases or the table stored on this databases. So the table is a collection of related data entries and it consists of the columns and rows. The table look like this. This consists of the columns and the rows. So column is also called as the attribute or the field. So इधर आप देख सकते हो employee ID, first name, last name, department name, ये जो भी है इसको हम attributes कहते हैं. और अगर आप कॉलम देखेंगे, अगर एम्प्लॉय आईडी देखेंगे, इसका रिलेटेड कॉलम सिर्फ एम्प्लॉय आईडी कंटेन करेगा. अगर आप फर्स्ट नेम देखेंगे, इट कंटेन्स ओनली द फर्स्ट नेम, this column, first name column. Last name contains only the last name. Department name contains only the department names, this particular column. इसको हम attributes कहते हैं, attributes of the table. That is nothing but the column names. These are like headings you can say. और अगर रो को कंसिडर करेंगे, these are the tuple. It's a record, it's a complete record which consists of each attribute. Like अगर हम फर्स्ट रिकॉर्ड या फिर फर्स्ट टपल देखेंगे तो इट हैज द वैल्यूज 1, कैन, देन सैंचेज, देन एग्जीक्यूटिव. So these are the corresponding values or corresponding record for these attribute values. So इसको हम टपल कहते हैं. ईच रो को जो रहता है उसको टपल या फिर रिकॉर्ड कहते हैं. तो अगर आपको अभी समझ में आ गया होगा, there are two main things inside the table you should remember, that is column and row. Column is also called as attribute or a field and rows are called as tuple or a record. So these are the operations we will be carrying out, that is select, update, delete, insert into, create database, alter database, create table, alter table, drop table, create index, drop index. So we will be studying these one by one. So don't worry about all these operations and don't get too much confused now. So for this tutorial, I'm just using the WAMP server. You can use any database like WAMP, XAMPP, or MySQL, PostgreSQL, or also you can go for the online compiler, which you will get by googling the like online compiler for SQL. First operation we are going to study is creating a table. So जब भी आपको किसी टेबल को क्रिएट करना है, at that time you have to use create table statement and it is used to create the new table in the database. So syntax looks like this: create table followed by आपको जो भी आपके टेबल को नेम देना है, like table name, create table followed by table name, and inside the bracket you will have the column followed by data types. You can have any number of column from 1 to like any number you can have. Column name followed by data type, comma, second column and data type, third column data type, like this. So your column names will be whatever I showed you over here. These are your column names: employee ID, first name, last name, department name. So if you consider this example, you will need 4 columns. So create table, I'll just give the table name as employee, create table employee, inside bracket first column was your employee ID. So employee ID, what I want the data type for this column 1, that is integer. So I'll write create table, table name, that is employee, in the bracket employee ID integer, comma, second one was first name. So I want first name to be string or a character sequence of characters. For this purpose we have a varchar data type inside SQL. So I'll write first name varchar, last name varchar, and last one was the department name. There also I will have varchar. Varchar can contain a like combination of strings and like combination of characters and numbers also, only characters, only numbers, anything is fine for the varchar. So this is how you create a table inside your database. So just now I mentioned the column parameter specifies the name of the column of your table, and data type parameter specifies the type of the data the column can hold. So it contains also varchar, integer, or if you want to have the date, so you can have the date as a data type. So now I'll demonstrate you how exactly you have to write the query, how exactly you have to create the table. So मैंने यहाँ पे अपने वैम्प का MySQL का कंसोल ओपन किया है. आप जो भी डेटाबेस यूज करें उसका कंसोल, या फिर अगर आपका जैम्प वैम्प है और उसको PHP माई एडमिन में जाके अपने वर्कबेंच ओपन किया है तो उधर SQL करके टैब रहेगा, उसमें जाके भी आप सेम क्वेरीज लिख सकते हो. सो लेट मी जस्ट स्टार्ट. सो पहले कुछ भी टेबल या फिर कुछ भी ऑपरेशन करने से पहले आई नीड अ डेटाबेस. सो आई नीड टू क्रिएट अ डेटाबेस वेर इन आई डू ऑल द ऑपरेशंस. आई क्रिएट टेबल, आई ड्रॉप टेबल, आई वॉट एवर ऑपरेशंस आई डू in that database. First of all, I need to create the database. So for creating database, the syntax is very simple. Create database followed by database name. आप अपने database को जो नाम चाहिए वो दे सकते हो. मैंने इधर example नाम दिया है. So the syntax is very simple. Create database followed by your database name. So it will create a database named example for me. So अभी मैं इस database को connect करूंगी. So the current database is example. So whatever operations I'm doing now will be in the example database. Whatever tables I'll create will be in the example database. So अभी मैं आपको टेबल को कैसे क्रिएट करना है दिखाऊंगी. So मैंने ऑलरेडी आपको सिंटैक्स बताया हुआ है. क्या है? क्रिएट टेबल फॉलोड बाय टेबल नेम. अब जो भी टेबल को नाम देना चाहते हो दे सकते हो. I'll just give full name as a table name. And what all attributes I need? I will have the first name, and I want the data type of this attribute to be varchar. I want the characters, and I'll limit the number of characters to 10. And second attribute, I want it as last name, and I will limit the number of characters, like I want the data type to be varchar, and the number of characters I want to limit to 10. So ये एक टेबल को क्रिएट करेगा named full name which will have two attributes, like column names will be first name and last name. So ये हमारा टेबल अभी क्रिएट हो गया. Now that you know how to create the table, you have to also know how you have to drop the table. अगर आपको किसी टेबल को हटाना है या फिर वैनिश करना है for permanently, तो आपको क्या करना है? So you have to just drop the table. The drop table statement is used to drop an existing table in the database. You have to be careful before a dropping table, because deleting a table, like dropping a table, will lose all the information about that table which is stored in the database. So syntax इसका बहुत simple है. Drop table followed by table name. इतना लिखने के बाद आपका table completely vanish हो जाएगा. Like it will not exist in the database. With all its values, with all its data, it will get vanish. I'll just show that to you. So here we have just created this table called full name. Now I'll just drop this table. Drop table followed by table name. मेरा table name क्या है? Full name. So this statement will completely vanish and will completely delete the table or this data from my database. So it has deleted this successfully. So now we'll study how you have to insert the data into your table. So for inserting a data or inserting a tuple inside your table, you have insert into statement, which is used to insert a new record, new tuple inside your table. And there are two ways how you can insert a like row or insert a record or tuple inside your table. The first one is the syntax looks like this. Like there are two ways. पहले में क्या है? इंसर्ट इनटू टेबल नेम, एंड उसके अंदर आपको कॉलम्स लिखना है, उसके बाद वैल्यूज and value 1, value 2, value 3. This will be like this. The value 1 will be for column 1, value 2 will be for column 2, value 3 will be for column 3, and so on. Or other way is insert into table name, and you just need not write your column names and all. You can directly write values and followed by values whatever you want to add. अगर मैं अपने full name table का example लूँ तो ऐसा होगा. Insert into full name in the bracket first name comma last name values Shruti comma Patil. अगर इसका एग्जांपल लो तो insert into full name values Shruti comma Patil. But whenever I am using this, I just have to make sure कि value 1 is for the first column, value 2 is for the second column and so on. So I'll just show this to you now. जैसे कि आप जानते हैं मैंने अपने टेबल को ड्रॉप किया था, so that table doesn't exist in my example database right now, so I have to use the I have to create the database once again. So I'll just create sorry, not database, I have to just create table once again because I have my database. I've just dropped my table. Create table full name and attributes will be first name varchar of 10 comma last name varchar of 10. So now I'll insert the data. So for inserting data, you have to write insert into table name. Table name is full name, values, and values will be what? I'll just write Shruti. As this is a character, I have to use this colons and so not colons. Shruti Patil I will write and I'll just insert. So this has inserted one row, that is Shruti Patil. You can insert as many rows you want in your database or in your table. Whatever rows you want for that table you can insert. अभी आपको डेटा को इंसर्ट करना आ गया. अगर कुछ डेटा नहीं चाहिए तो आपको उसको डिलीट भी तो करना आना चाहिए ना. तो उसके लिए you have delete statement which is used to delete the existing record in your table. So the syntax is like delete from table name and where condition. If you don't write this where condition, delete from table name will delete all the records. It will not delete the table, but it will delete all the records. Like if I delete from full name, it will delete all my records. Right now I have only one record, that is Shruti Patil, so it will delete that record. If I have 10 records, then it will delete all the records whatever I have in the table. But if you write where and condition, then it will delete only the record which satisfies this condition. If I want to delete Shruti Patil, I can just write delete from table name where first name equal to Shruti and last name equal to Patil. Or I can just write if I want to delete all the records who have first name as Shruti, so I can just write delete from full name where first name equal to Shruti. So this is how where condition works. If you don't write where condition, it will delete all the record from your table. So I'll just show this to you now. So मेरा तो अभी इधर एक ही रिकॉर्ड है, तो मैं डायरेक्टली डिलीट फ्रॉम फुल नेम करूंगी. So it's just gonna delete all the record from my table, but the table will remain. Like if you drop the table will also go with all the records. But if you delete the delete from table, it will only affect the records, not the table. Like it will remain with the empty table. Now, if you drop, the table will also get vanished. So the next one is select statement. Select statement is used to select the data from the database. अभी आपने डेटाबेस को क्रिएट कर लिया, टेबल को क्रिएट कर लिया, उसको ड्रॉप कर लिया, फिर डेटा को इंसर्ट कर लिया, डिलीट कर लिया. पर अगर उस डेटा को इंसर्ट किया है तो उसको देखना है, तो कैसे देखना है? So how you will fetch the data from the database? So for that you have to use select statement, and the data returned is stored in the result set called as result set. The data which is returned will be in the table format and it is called as the result set. So the syntax is like this: select column 1 comma column 2 from table name. अगर आपको specific columns चाहिए, अभी मैं full name की बात करूं, मुझे सिर्फ चाहिए first name. So what I'll write, select first name from full name. अगर मुझे पूरा डेटा चाहिए, जो भी डेटाबेस में हो पूरा डेटा चाहिए, तो मैं क्या लिखूंगी, सिलेक्ट स्टार. स्टार विल ensure the all. Select star from full name, my table name, whatever I want to give. So स्टार जब भी यूज करेंगे पूरा डेटा आएगा. सिलेक्ट जब भी आप स्पेसिफिक कॉलम्स नेम लिखेंगे तब उसी कॉलम का डेटा मिलेगा. यू कैन हैव द वेयर कंडीशन ऑल्सो आफ्टर दिस फ्रॉम, लाइक सिलेक्ट फर्स्ट नेम from table name where first name equal to Shruti. अगर ऐसा where condition भी आप इधर दे सकते हो, which will fetch the only the required data which satisfies that condition to you. So that is in the where clause. The where clause is used to filter the records. The where clause is used to extract only those records which fulfill the specified condition, like this: select column 1 comma column 2 from this table where condition is this, where the condition will be given. So I'll just show this to you now. तो अभी मेरा टेबल तो क्रिएट कर लिया, पर उसमें जो डेटा था वो मैंने डिलीट कर दिया. तो आई जस्ट इंसर्ट द डेटा अगेन. So insert this data again. I'll insert 2-3 more. I'll just write Shruti, Shruti P, and I'll insert Aishwarya P. Then I'll insert Ritik Roshan. Let me just give the name Ritik Roshan over here. So now my table has these 4 rows. So now I'll select star from this full name table. So when I say star, it will select all the data. It will return all the data whatever is there in the table. So these are the 2 columns or attributes I have, first name and last name, and this is the record whatever I entered. This is the each record: Shruti Patil, Shruti P, Aishwarya P, and Ritik Roshan. Now if I want to select the record which has first name as Shruti, so what I'll write: select star from full name. I want to select star, like all rows, all columns I want to select, but from full name where first name equals to Shruti. So मुझे क्या चाहिए, सारे कॉलम्स चाहिए इसमें से, लाइक फर्स्ट नेम भी चाहिए, लास्ट नेम भी चाहिए, पर उसी का चाहिए जिसका फर्स्ट नेम श्रुति है. So it will return only 2 rows because only for 2 rows I have the first name as Shruti. अगर मैं इधर लिखूंगी select last name from full name where last name equals to Roshan. So it will only return one row as I am only interested in one column. It will only return one row also because Ritik Roshan is the only row where the surname or the last name is Roshan, and it will return only one column. This last name column will be returned because I am only interested in the only one column, last name Roshan. There is only one row which has last name Roshan. So this is how you use where condition. This is how you write the queries. Now we'll go in depth, like how you have to do all the operations. Now we'll see that. So what if your database contains the duplicate entries? सोच लो कि आपके डेटाबेस में श्रुति पाटिल है और 10 बार है, लाइक 10 रिकॉर्ड्स है जिसमें श्रुति पाटिल श्रुति पाटिल श्रुति पाटिल ही लिखा हुआ है. एंड यू डोंट वांट टू रिट्रीव दोज डुप्लीकेट रिकॉर्ड्स. आपको चाहिए डेटाबेस एंट्रीज, बस श्रुति पाटिल है 10 बार, पर आपको रिट्रीव करना है एक ही बार. आपको एक ही बार पता चलना चाहिए कि हाँ श्रुति पाटिल है. तो तब आपको क्या करना है, सिलेक्ट डिस्टिंक्ट स्टेटमेंट यूज करना है. सो सिलेक्ट डिस्टिंक्ट स्टेटमेंट इज यूज टू रिटर्न ओनली द डिस्टिंक्ट और डिफरेंट वैल्यूज. सोच लो आपके मतलब डेटाबेस में 2 बार श्रुति पाटिल है, लाइक श्रुति पाटिल, आफ्टर दैट श्रुति पी, देन ऐश्वर्या पी. और अगर आपको रिट्रीव करना है रिकॉर्ड, सिलेक्ट स्टार करना है, तो आपको क्या चाहिए, एक ही बार श्रुति पाटिल आना चाहिए, एक बार श्रुति पी और एक बार ऐश्वर्या पी. जो डुप्लीकेट एंट्री है वो आपको नहीं चाहिए. At that time you have to use this select distinct statement. And inside a table, a column of often contains many duplicate values, and sometimes you only want to list the different values. So आप ये चीज सिर्फ कॉलम्स के लिए भी अप्लाई कर सकते हैं या फिर पूरे डेटाबेस के लिए भी अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. तो the syntax is like this: select distincts, then columns, then from table. So I'll just show this to you in my database. So here I'll just insert one more value, insert into table name is full name, values, and I'll just enter Shruti Patil one more time. So now if we can just do select star from this full name table. You can see Shruti Patil entries there for the 2 times and you don't want to retrieve the entries which are duplicate. तब आपको क्या करना है, ये इधर लिखना है select distinct star from full name. सो अभी श्रुति पाटिल 2 बार नहीं आ रहा है क्योंकि आई हैव जस्ट यूज द वर्ड डिस्टिंक्ट. सो सोच लो आपको सिर्फ फर्स्ट नेम रिट्रीव करनी है पर जो फर्स्ट नेम डिफरेंट है. अभी इधर क्या है, श्रुति, ऐश्वर्या, ऋतिक, और हम फुल डेटाबेस कंसीडर करेंगे तो श्रुति और एक बार है. बट आई जस्ट वांट टू रिट्रीव द फर्स्ट नेम बट विच आर डिस्टिंक्ट. लाइक आई जस्ट वांट टू रिट्रीव श्रुति, ऐश्वर्या एंड ऋतिक. आई डोंट वांट द नेम्स विच आर डुप्लीकेट. सो आई जस्ट राइट सिलेक्ट distinct first name, whichever column I want to retrieve, first name, distinct first names from which table, the full name table. So it will give the distinct values to me. So this is how the distinct works. अब अगर आपको अपनी where condition, like where clause में condition जहाँ लिखते हैं वहां पे you just want to add 2 or more conditions, at that time you have to use and, or and not operators. Like the where clause can be combined with and, or and not operators, and the and or operators are used to filter the records based on more than one condition. जब भी आपको एक से ज्यादा conditions लिखनी है, at that time you have to use this. And the and operator displays a record if all the conditions separated by and are true. जब आप एंड यूज करेंगे, जब आप लिखेंगे फर्स्ट नेम इक्वल टू श्रुति एंड लास्ट नेम इक्वल टू पाटिल, व्हेन यू हैव यूज्ड एंड ऑपरेटर, दोनों कंडीशंस ट्रू होनी चाहिए तभी आपका रिकॉर्ड, मतलब दोनों कंडीशन जहां पे ट्रू है वही रिकॉर्ड आपको रिट्रीव होगा. और अगर आपने और ऑपरेटर यूज किया है तो एनी वन ऑफ द रिकॉर्ड इफ इट इज ट्रू, लाइक इफ आई राइट फर्स्ट नेम इक्वल टू श्रुति और लास्ट नेम इक्वल टू पाटिल, तो जहां जहां पे फर्स्ट नेम श्रुति है वो रिट्रीव होगा, जहां जहां पे लास्ट नेम पाटिल है वो रिट्रीव होगा, और दोनों कंडीशन जिधर ट्रू है वो भी रिट्रीव होगा. एटलीस्ट वन ऑफ दीज स्टेटमेंट्स और एटलीस्ट वन ऑफ दीज कंडीशन हैज टू बी ट्रू. दोनों ट्रू होंगे तो भी चलेगा, एक है तो भी चलेगा. अगर दोनों नहीं है सिर्फ तभी वो रिकॉर्ड को रिट्रीव नहीं करेगा. जहां पर भी या एक भी कंडीशन जिधर ट्रू है और कंडीशन में तो वहां वो रिकॉर्ड रिट्रीव करेगा. And not operator displays a record if condition is not true. If the condition is not true, at that time it will just retrieve the records. So ये and का जो है वो ऐसा दिखता है, select column 1 column 2 from table where condition 1 and condition 2 and condition 3 and so on. और का भी सेम होगा where condition 1 और condition 2 और condition ऐसे आता है. And not is like select column 1 column 2 from table where not this condition, like this condition has to be false. मतलब अगर मैं लिखूंगी select star from table where not first name equal to श्रुति, तो ये वो रिकॉर्ड्स या फिर वो टपल्स रिटर्न करेगा जिधर फर्स्ट नेम श्रुति नहीं है. आई थिंक यू अंडरस्टूड. I'll just go to my table and just clarify these things to you. So I'll just do first select star from table from first name, sorry full name, from full name, and after that you can see the complete table. So here what I'll do now, I just want to select star, like all the columns from this table name full name where the first name is first name equals to Aishwarya, and I'm just using and operator, and last name equal to P. So I am just writing अपने डेटाबेस के सभी कॉलम, मुझे पूरा डेटा मतलब सॉरी मेरे टेबल का पूरा लाइक डेटा चाहिए, पर उसी का चाहिए जिसका फर्स्ट नेम ऐश्वर्या है एंड आई एम यूजिंग एंड ऑपरेटर एंड लास्ट नेम पी है, मतलब ये दोनों कंडीशंस ट्रू होनी चाहिए। अभी फर्स्ट नेम ऐश्वर्या, इधर फर्स्ट नेम ऐश्वर्या है नहीं, थर्ड रो का फर्स्ट नेम ऐश्वर्या है और लास्ट नेम क्या चाहिए, पी चाहिए, लास्ट नेम पी इधर है। तो ये दोनों कंडीशन जिस रो या जिस टपल का होगा वही मुझे मतलब रिजल्ट सेट मिलेगा। Now if I write select, यही सेम but I'll just use the or operator. अभी मैंने इधर क्या लिखा है, select star from the full name table where first name is Aishwarya और last name is P. पहले देखेंगे फर्स्ट नेम ऐश्वर्या किधर है, फर्स्ट नेम ऐश्वर्या इधर है, तो ये रिकॉर्ड तो रिट्रीव होगा इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द सेकेंड और कंडीशन, बिकॉज एक भी अगर कंडीशन ट्रू है तो वो रिट्रीव होगा। सो फर्स्ट नेम इज ऐश्वर्या इधर है तो ये थर्ड रिकॉर्ड तो रिट्रीव होगा। और क्या बोला है, लास्ट नेम पी, अगर ये होना चाहिए या फिर ये होगा तो भी चलेगा, लास्ट नेम पी होना चाहिए, तो लास्ट नेम पी किधर है, सेकेंड रिकॉर्ड में भी लास्ट नेम पी है, तो श्रुति पी एंड ऐश्वर्या पी, these two records will be retrieved by the database because we have used or condition. Any one of the condition is true, then it will retrieve that result set for you. Now if I write select star where not of first name equal to श्रुति, सो अभी वही रिकॉर्ड्स रिट्रीव होंगे जिधर फर्स्ट नेम श्रुति नहीं है, नॉट ऑफ दिस कंडीशन, लाइक दिस कंडीशन शुड नॉट बी ट्रू, तो जिधर जिधर फर्स्ट नेम श्रुति नहीं है वो रिकॉर्ड्स रिट्रीव होंगे। So this is how this and or and not works. I hope you understood this. So we can move further. So the next thing is update statement and we use update statement to modify the existing record in the table. अभी सोच लो मेरे रिकॉर्ड में श्रुति पी था और मुझे श्रुति पी की जगह सानवी पी चाहिए, जस्ट आई वांट टू चेंज माय फर्स्ट नेम वेयर द लास्ट नेम वाज पी एंड फर्स्ट नेम वाज श्रुति। So at that time what I have to use, update table. So update statement I have to use. So मुझे कैसे लिखना है, update फिर टेबल नेम, जो जिस टेबल का रिकॉर्ड मुझे अपडेट करना है उसका नाम, फिर set column 1 equal to this value, column 2 equal to this value where the condition, अगर मैंने जो बोला उस एग्जाम्पल की बात करें तो कैसे आएगा, update full name, set column 1 equal to Sanvi, comma column 2 equal to P where first name equal to Shruti and last name equal to P. ऐसे लिखेंगे तो it will modify the Shruti P to Sanvi P, or else I can just write set column 1 equal to Sanvi where first name is Shruti and last name is P. So this is how update works. I'll just show this to you in my database. So if you can see, there is an entry named Shruti P and I want here as Sanvi P. So what I'll write, update table, that is my table name, and set column 1, that is first name equal to Sanvi where the first name, now I have to write the condition where I want to update this, where the first name is Shruti. I could have written only this thing, but there are 3 fields or there are 3 rows or tuples where the first name is Shruti. If I leave it as it is, it will update all those rows where the first name is Shruti, but I want this particular record. So to select this, I just want to mention and last name equal to P. So now this condition will only select this row, this particular row. So now I'll just show this to you by selecting select star from this full name, So if you can see already here, the row matched is 1 and one row is already changed. So if you can see, Shruti P had changed to Sanvi P. This is how the update statement works. This is how you have to change or update the records which is already existing in your table. अभी आपने देखा कि अपडेट स्टेटमेंट यूज करके कैसे आपके एग्जिस्टिंग रिकॉर्ड को आपको एडिट करना है, एग्जिस्टिंग टपल को एडिट करना है. बट व्हाट इफ यू वांट टू एडिट योर कॉलम नेम, लाइक आपके पास दो कॉलम है और आपको एक कॉलम ऐड करना है, या फिर आपको एक कॉलम आपके टेबल में से डिलीट करना है, या फिर सोच लो कॉलम का नेम चेंज करना है, या फिर टेबल का नेम चेंज करना है. इट इज पॉसिबल टू ड्रॉप इट एंड देन क्रिएट द टेबल अगेन. लाइक मुझे चाहिए फुल नेम एंड लास्ट नेम एंड एज, तो मेरे पास अभी सिर्फ फुल नेम एंड लास्ट नेम है, तो मैं क्या करूंगी, टेबल को ही ड्रॉप करूंगी और एक टेबल क्रिएट करूंगी. It is possible for small databases, but when you have the big database where the large amount of data is stored, it is not practically possible and a user can't afford it to do that. So ऐसे माइनर चेंजेस के लिए डेटाबेस को हटाना या फिर टेबल को हटा के फिर से क्रिएट करना इज नॉट अ like not a affordable thing. So at that time we have to use the alter table statement. So whenever you want to add any column, like मैंने बोला फुल नेम लास्ट नेम मेरे टेबल में है और मुझे एक एज का कॉलम चाहिए, तो मैं क्या करूंगी, अल्टर टेबल यूज करूंगी. अल्टर टेबल, टेबल नेम, जिस भी टेबल को मुझे अल्टर करना है, फुल नेम एंड ऐड कॉलम नेम एंड कॉलम डेफिनेशन. ऐड, इधर कॉलम नेम जो भी मुझे ऐड करना है और उसका डेफिनेशन मतलब var char int जो भी आपको ऐड करना है वो इधर आएगा कॉलम डेफिनेशन में. अभी सोच लो मॉडिफाई द एग्जिस्टिंग कॉलम, आपका एज है varchar और आपको चाहिए int, तो आप क्या करेंगे, अल्टर टेबल, टेबल नेम, मॉडिफाई कॉलम नेम. कॉलम नेम आपका एज था और यू हैव टू मॉडिफाई द कॉलम टाइप. सो एग्जिस्टिंग आपको डेटा टाइप या कुछ भी ऐसे चेंज करना है तो आप मॉडिफाई यूज करोगे, लाइक मॉडिफाई यूज इधर मतलब करोगे. And next if you want to drop the column, so you can just write alter table, table name and drop column, column name. You have to just write drop column and followed by the column name whichever you want to drop from this table. And if you want to rename the column, so you have to just write alter table, table name, rename. You have to use the word rename column, after that old name to new name, whatever you want. Like old name you have to write and two word you have to use, two keyword, and new name whatever you want to add to your column name. Same for the table name also. If you want to rename the table name, at that time you have to use alter table, table name and rename to this table name you want to rename to new table name whatever you want. Like let's say I want to rename my full name table to just name, so what I'll write, alter table full name rename to name. So this is how alter works. Now I'll just show this to you by adding a column inside my table, full name table. So here I'll just do the operation now. So what I need to do, alter table. So table name is full name, and what I want to do, I just want to add the column called age, and I want the data type of this age to be int. So column definition is also complete. So this is now altered the table. I'll just show that to you now by doing select star from full name. So if you can see the age column is here, but as I have entered the values earlier, मैंने पहले ही values enter कर दी थी, उसमें age नहीं था, तो जिधर जिधर age है वहाँ सभी जगह null आया है. Now I can just insert one more row, insert into full name values. I'll just enter a row over here. I'll just write दीपिका या फिर दीप्ति लिख दूंगी, दीप्ति, comma last name I want to be I'll just write, and age I'll just say 20. So now if I do select star, if you can see the last row, it has the age because just now I entered. जो भी पहले के records थे उसमें मैंने age नहीं डाला था क्योंकि मेरे columns में age नहीं था, तो वो null आया है. जो अभी डाला है उसमें age मैंने enter किया तो age आया है. So this is how you can add column, delete column, or rename your column name, rename your table using the alter table. So this is one of the very useful command or useful SQL query you will be using, I can say. So अब अगर आपके रिजल्ट सेट को आपको सॉर्ट करना है इन असेंडिंग और डिसेंडिंग ऑर्डर, at that time we have to use this order by keyword. So by default the order by keyword sorts the record in the ascending order, and if you want to like sort in descending you have to use this DESC keyword. So here is the syntax: select column names, or if you can use star also to select complete table record, and from table name whatever you want to like select the record from which table, that you can mention over here. And after that you can also have the where condition. After that you can have order by, or directly after from you can just write order by, and by which column you want to order, that you have to mention it over here. And if you want to like sort using ascending, you just need not mention, but if you want to sort in descending order, you have to just use this DESC keyword. I'll just show this to you. I just added some more records in my table, and I just want to sort using this age column. For that I'll just write select star from which table, from this full name table, and order by, I'll order by age. So I want to order by age. So now if you can see here, first all the null values have been printed. After that it is sorting the record using the age, like using the age column. It is just sorting the record in the ascending order. First the person with age 2, then 20, then 22, then 25. So this is how the order by works. A field which doesn't have any value, or a field with no value, is called as a null value. And if a field is in table is optional, it is possible to insert a new record or update a record without adding to a value to this field. So then that field is called as the null value. So as you know, earlier I had a like only full name and last name, and age field was completely null. So that field at that time when I had no records with the value for age, that is called as the null value field. So you can check whether your column or field is having the null values, like using select after your condition you have to just put in your is null or is not null, and it will do the purpose for you. I'll just not demonstrate this because you already know what the null values and how they look like. So I'll just move further. नाउ व्हेन देयर इज अ लार्ज डेटाबेस और आपको चाहिए कि पहले के कुछ 5 या 10 रो रिट्रीव कर लो, क्योंकि if this is a big database which contains the thousands of rows, and it will affect the performance if I try to retrieve all the rows, like it will take time and it will affect the performance. तब आपको क्या करना है, टॉप या फिर लिमिट क्लॉज को यूज करना है. सो द select top clause is used to specify the number of records you want to return, and the select top clause is useful on the large database where there are thousands of records, and returning a large number of records may impact the performance of the system. So इसका जो syntax है वो है select top, then you have to specify the number, like select top 5 या फिर select top 10, कुछ भी, या फिर आप नंबर ले सकते हैं, या फिर यू कैन जस्ट मेंशन द परसेंट आल्सो, नंबर या फिर परसेंट. परसेंट मतलब कैसे, सिलेक्ट टॉप 10%, सिलेक्ट टॉप 20%, और कॉलम नेम्स या फिर स्टार भी ले सकते हैं. फ्रॉम विच टेबल यू वांट टू रिट्रीव एंड वेयर द कंडीशन इज दिस. You can use the limit clause also like this: select column names या फिर star from which table, where condition. After that you have to just limit the number of rows. Number you have to specify over there. I'll just show this to you so that you can understand this in a better way. So I'll just write select star from which table, from full name table, and I'll just limit the number of rows to 6. So if you can see, the first 6 rows have been retrieved. So this is how you can use limits. Same way you can use also top also, like select top 6 फ्रॉम फुल नेम, या फिर सिलेक्ट टॉप परसेंट में लिखना है, सोच लो इधर 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 रोज है, मुझे 6 रोज चाहिए, मतलब मैं क्या लिखूंगी 60%, सिलेक्ट टॉप 60% स्टार फ्रॉम फुल नेम। तो ऐसे आप टॉप या फिर लिमिट क्लॉज का यूज करके कुछ रोज रिट्रीव कर सकते हैं। अब अगर इफ यू वांट टू रिट्रीव द वैल्यू विच इज स्मॉलेस्ट इन द कॉलम, लाइक सोच लो एक एम्प्लॉय टेबल है जिसमें सैलरी करके एक कॉलम है, तो आपको पता करना है कि द एम्प्लॉय विद द स्मॉलेस्ट लाइक द लीस्ट सैलरी एंड एम्प्लॉय विद द मैक्स सैलरी क्या है। So at that time we have to use this min and max function. The min function returns the smallest value of the selected column and the max function returns the largest value of the selected column. अब अगर मैं अपने एग्जाम्पल की बात करूं जिसमें एज कॉलम है, अगर मैं min ऑफ एज लिखूंगी तो उस कॉलम में एज कॉलम में जो सबसे मिनिमम एज प्रेजेंट है वो रिट्रीव होगा। मैक्स ऑफ एज लिखूंगी तो उस कॉलम में जो मैक्सिमम एज प्रेजेंट है, लार्जेस्ट वैल्यू ऑफ दैट सिलेक्टेड कॉलम विल बी रिटर्न टू मी, विल बी रिट्रीव्ड फ्रॉम द डेटाबेस। अब सिंटैक्स कैसे है, सिलेक्ट मिनिमम of column name, whatever column name you want to write here, from which you want to select the minimum value. After that from table and where condition, here also the condition is optional. Same for the max also, select max of the column name from table and where condition. I'll just show this to you with my database. I'll just use the age column, select min of age from which table, from this full name table. So if you can see 2 is the minimum age present in this column. So now if you write max of age, so the maximum age present in the column is 25. This is how you retrieve the minimum value and maximum value present in the column. So after min and max, we will study now count, average and sum functions. So count किस लिए यूज होता है, नंबर ऑफ रोज काउंट करने के लिए, या आप पूरे डेटाबेस के नंबर ऑफ रोज लाइक इस कॉलम के कितने रोज है वो काउंट कर सकते हैं, या फिर रोज दैट मैचेस अ स्पेसिफाइड कंडीशन कि कितने हैं रोज, वो जब आपको काउंट करना है एट दैट टाइम यू कैन यूज द काउंट फंक्शन। द काउंट फंक्शन रिटर्न्स द नंबर ऑफ रोज that matches a specified condition, and the average function returns the average value of a numeric column. Now if I write average of age, so it will take like sum of all the ages and divided by the number of rows, so it will return the average age whatever present in the column. If I use the sum function which returns the total sum of the numeric column, अभी sum of age लिखा तो जितने भी age है सब add करके मुझे एक sum मिलेगा। So the syntax look like this, select count of which column you want to write, select count, and you can use star also over here, from which table and where the condition, and where condition is optional as usual, and average is select average of which column you want to use the average, and like which column, like if I write age it will calculate the average of ages whatever is present in the column, and from which table and where condition, same for the sum of this column name and from table where condition. I'll just show these things to you so that you will understand. I'll just write select count of, I'll use age, from which table, from full name table. I'll not write the condition. So if you can see the ages are 4 because only in the 4 rows I had mentioned the ages. Rest all the rows were had null ages because there was no age present. I had entered the age only in the 4 rows. So it is returning 4. The count is 4. Now if I don't write the age over here, it will return the total number of counts, like select count star if I write. So now it will return the total number of rows which are present, that is 9. 9 rows are present. So I can even have this average also, average is present in the column EVG average. So 17.2500 is the average age of the column, and if I use this sum, it will sum up all the ages present, like 2 plus 20 plus 22 plus 25 it will do, and it will return the result to me, that is 69. So this is how you have to use these built-in functions like count, average, sum, min, max. So अभी सोच लो कि आपके where condition में like आपको एक pattern लिखना है, like you want to write in your condition that retrieve the first name which starts with yes. मतलब आगे कुछ भी हो चलेगा, सिर्फ yes है तो भी चलेगा, but I want the first character to be yes, the first name which starts with yes. So तब मुझे क्या करना चाहिए? So there comes the like operator. So the like operator is used in the where clause to search for the specified pattern in your column. So it is used with the where clause. And there are two wildcards often used in conjunction with this like operator. One is percent and this underscore. So the percent sign represents 0, 1 और मल्टीपल कैरेक्टर्स. मतलब यस के बाद अगर मैंने परसेंट लिख लिया तो क्या है, पहला कैरेक्टर तो यस होना चाहिए, उसके बाद एनी नंबर ऑफ कैरेक्टर्स एंड एनी कैरेक्टर्स. जीरो हो मतलब सिर्फ यस हो तो भी चलेगा, उसके बाद एक कैरेक्टर, दो, या फिर एनी नंबर ऑफ कैरेक्टर्स इज फाइन इफ आई राइट percent. And if there is a underscore, the underscore represents a single character. Yes underscore मतलब क्या हो गया, the word with two characters which starts with yes, और yes के बाद सिर्फ एक character होना चाहिए. So it doesn't mean zero and more, it only means the single character. So इसका जो syntax है which look like this, select columns whatever you want to select, or you can just write star from which table you want to select, and where column like you have to use this keyword like, and after that you have to write your pattern just however I showed, like however I just mentioned. So I'll go to my database. Here I'll just write select star. You can write your query on multiple lines also. From which table? From full name table, and where I want to write the condition as where the first name like s percent. When I write yes percent, it means that yes के बाद में zero और more number of characters, 0, 1, 2 कितने भी characters हो चलेगा, just the condition is it should start with yes. So the first name whichever has the first character as yes, they have been retrieved to me. So this is how like operator works. It is used for writing the pattern in your where condition. SQL का in operator, it's one of the very important operator. So in operator allows you to specify multiple values in the where clause. Where clause में जब आपको multiple values डालनी है, या फिर this is just a shorthand for the multiple or. और इसको हम और एक वे में यूज कर सकते हैं, लाइक वेन एवर यू वॉन्ट टू यूज सिलेक्ट इन सिलेक्ट, लाइक मल्टीपल सिलेक्ट स्टेटमेंट वेन एवर यू वॉन्ट टू यूज, लाइक एक सिलेक्ट है उसके अंदर एक सिलेक्ट, लाइक आई गेस यू अंडरस्टूड व्हाट आई मीन. सो तब आपको ये इन ऑपरेटर यूज करना है. So when you want to specify the values, like select column names, या फिर you can just write star, select star from table name, and where column name in these values. मतलब क्या है, पहले ये values देखेगा. If this column name, इसका जो value है, if it is present in these values, then only that row will be written. सोच लो मैंने इधर वैल्यूज में श्रुति एंड ऐश्वर्या लिखा है, इधर क्या लिखा है, श्रुति एंड ऐश्वर्या. नाउ सिलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम फुल नेम वेयर फर्स्ट नेम इन श्रुति कॉमा ऐश्वर्या. मतलब जिसका भी फर्स्ट नेम सिर्फ श्रुति है या फिर ऐश्वर्या है वही रोज मुझे रिटर्न होगी. आई गेस यू अंडरस्टूड दिस. और एक वे मैंने क्या बोला, सिलेक्ट इन सिलेक्ट, मतलब क्या, इधर मैंने सिलेक्ट स्टेटमेंट लिख लिया, इंस्टेड ऑफ राइटिंग द वैल्यूज ओवर हियर मैंने क्या लिख लिया, एक सिलेक्ट स्टेटमेंट लिख लिया. तो जब आपके पास एक से ज्यादा टेबल हो और दो टेबल लेके आपको कुछ ऑपरेशन करना हो तब आप ये यूज कर सकते हो. सोच लो मेरे पास और एक टेबल है जिसमें श्रुति पाटिल और ऐश्वर्या पाटिल है. सो अभी मेरे पास और एक टेबल है नेम्ड नेम. ओके, द टेबल नेम इज नेम. So I just want select star from full name where first name in select star from name. मतलब क्या, इसके मतलब फर्स्ट नेम जिसका भी श्रुति और ऐश्वर्या है, मतलब इसमें से पहले स्टार सिलेक्ट होगा या फिर इसमें से पहले फर्स्ट नेम सिलेक्ट होगा, फिर इधर वैल्यूज आएगी, वो वैल्यूज ये यूज करेगा, और उस ये फर्स्ट नेम में अगर ये वैल्यूज प्रेजेंट है तो ही वो रो मुझे रिटर्न हो गया. I'll just show the example so that you will understand this clearly. I think I'm confusing you with the concept. So I'll just show the example directly to you. You will understand it in a clear way, and all your doubts will be cleared. So मैं पहले जो वैल्यूज वाला था वो दिखाऊंगी. सिलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम फुल नेम where first name in. Now I have to mention the values, like specify the values. I'll just say Shruti, and I can say Sanvi. Okay. So now wherever the first name is Shruti or Sanvi, those rows are returning to me. So this is how you have to specify the values, or this is just a shorthand method of the or condition. और जो सिलेक्ट इन सिलेक्ट था उसमें, उसके लिए मैं क्या कर लूंगी, मैं और एक टेबल बना लेती हूँ. क्रिएट टेबल नेम. इसमें मैं लिख दूंगी फर्स्ट नेम ऑफ द टाइप. इसमें भी फर्स्ट नेम और लास्ट नेम ही लिखूंगी, या फिर आई कैन जस्ट से यफ नेम so that it will not be confusing. F name varchar of 10, comma yel name which is varchar of again 10. So I have just created a table, and now I'll just insert some values. Insert into name values. I'll just say Shruti P. Again I'll say Shruti D, and I can say Shruti. Let me not say Shruti only each time. I'll just take some other name now. Aishwarya, Aishwarya P. Then Ritika G I'll take. I'm just taking the random values, okay? Or some of the values which are present in the above table. So now what I'll do, I'll just write the query. Select star from full name and where first name in. Now I'll write one more query over here. Select f name from which table? This name table. So whenever you write this select in select, पहले जो अंदर की क्वेरी होती है, इनर क्वेरी विल बी एग्जीक्यूटेड. सिलेक्ट एफ नेम फ्रॉम नेम. सो अभी क्या होगा, पहले सारे नेम्स आएंगे, फर्स्ट नेम जो भी मैंने इधर डाले वो मिलेगा, वो एज अ वैल्यू कंसिडर होगा. और आफ्टर दैट द सेम ऑपरेशन विल बी कैरिड आउट. जैसे इधर हुआ ना वैसे ही सेम होगा, सिर्फ जो वैल्यूज इधर मैंने डायरेक्टली एंटर किए थे वो एंटर नहीं करूंगे. इट विल बी सिलेक्टेड फ्रॉम सम अदर टेबल. So whenever there is a large database, you can't enter all the values. No, at that time you have to use this select in select, like nested query you can see. So if you can see, जिसमें भी first name either श्रुति, ऐश्वर्या या फिर रितिका, जो भी फर्स्ट नेम इसमें थे वो अगर सेम मैच हो रहे हैं तो उसका जो है इधर का जो फर्स्ट नेम फुल नेम टेबल था उसका रो मुझे इधर मिल रहा है. So I hope this concept is clear to you, and this is one of the very major and important concept because industry level and other level, whenever you have to write the queries, uh, this is one of the very important concept. Next one is between operator, and the between operator selects the value within a given range. So जब भी आपको एक start range या फिर and end range लिखना है और उसके बीच के value जो भी है आपको चाहिए, at that time you have to use this between operator. And the values can be numbers, text or dates you can mention. And the between operator is inclusive, like begin and जो end आप values डालेंगे वो include होंगे. अगर आप 1 to 10 कहेंगे तो इट विल बी फ्रॉम 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 10, इसमें से कोई भी वैल्यू होगी तो वो इंक्लूड होगी. लाइक स्टार्टिंग एंड एंड वैल्यू जो आप लिखेंगे वो इंक्लूड होंगी. So this is how the syntax looks. Select column name or the star and whatever you want to select from which table and where the column name between value 1 and value 2. So I'll just show the example so that you'll understand it in a better way as usual. So I will use the age thing. I'll write age from 2 to 22 so that the one age, this 25 age, will be discarded. Other three ages will be shown to me. So select star from which table, full name table, where age between, where age is between 2 to 22. Sorry, I should use not 2, between 2 and 22. So if you can see 2, 20 and 22 age has been displayed to you, and the age which was with the 25 is discarded. So the end value and start value is also included. So this is how it works, the between operator works. So the next one is SQL aliases, and SQL aliases are used to give a table or a column in a table a temporary name. जब भी आपको एक temporary name देना है, सोच लो मेरा age है और मुझे उसको एक temporary name देना है person age. Only for that period of time. It will not be permanent, only for that operation. तब आपको इस SQL aliases का यूज करना है. So we use as, जो as word keyword है उसको यूज करना है. And the alias name जो आप temporary name देंगे, it will only exist for the duration of the query. वो query होने के बाद अगर आप फिर से वो वही यूज करने की कोशिश करेंगे तो it will not work. It will be only for the duration of that particular query. So the syntax is like select column name as whatever you name want to give as a temporary name from table name. ऐसे आप टेबल के लिए भी कर सकते हैं. Select column names from table name as this. You can give table name also like as this. मतलब टेबल नेम भी एक टेबल नेम को भी एक टेम्पररी नेम दे सकते हैं. मैं इधर एक कॉलम को एक टेम्पररी नेम दे के दिखा दूंगी आपको. So I'll just write select age as percentage from which table, from full name table. So if you can see, the column name is not age, it is person age now. So this is how the aliases works, एक temporary name देने के लिए है. So next one is SQL constraints, and these are used to specify some rule on the data in the table or on the table also. And constraints are used to limit the type of the data that can go into the table, or this ensures the accuracy and reliability of the data in the table. And if there is any violation between the constraint and the data in the table, then the action which you are taking will be aborted. And constraints can be column level or table level. जो column level constraints है, that will be applied to the column, and if it is table level, then it will be applied to a complete table. So these are some of the constraints: not null, unique, primary key, foreign key, check, default, and index. So when you see the not null constraint is applied to the column, then it ensures that the column value cannot have a null value. अगर आप लिख लेंगे id not null, तो आप जब भी कुछ डेटा इंसर्ट कर रहे हैं तब आपको id की वैल्यू देनी ही है. It cannot be null at all. And if you have the unique constraint, it ensures that all the column values are unique. जब आप id unique बोलेंगे तब क्या होगी? If you have entered the id value as 2 for the first time, next time you cannot enter the same id. So the each id of the column has to be unique. It has to be different. And primary key is both of this, like it has to be not null, like it cannot be null, and it has to be unique. And प्राइमरी की जो है इट्स वन ऑफ द इम्पॉर्टेंट कंसेप्ट एंड ये जो है ये प्राइमरी की अब अगर आपने आईडी को प्राइमरी की बोल लिया so it means that your id cannot be null and it is a unique constraint or it's a unique value or unique column which identifies that row. अगर आपने सिर्फ लिख लिया select row from the table which has id 2 means उसमें एक ही id like एक ही रो होगा जिसका id 2 होगा because it's a primary key and it has to be unique, so it will select only one row, one that particular row which has the unique value id 2. और फॉरेन की जो है इट्स ऑल्सो अ प्राइमरी की ऑफ द डिफरेंट टेबल. अगर एक एम्प्लॉई टेबल है और एक डिपार्टमेंट टेबल है और डिपार्टमेंट में डिपार्टमेंट नंबर है, you want the department number row also in the employee table. At that time what you will do, you will just refer the department number from the department table. It's a primary key of the different table which you will refer in your current table. You will get these concepts when we will study the example, so that don't get too much confused now. And check जो है वो आपको कुछ एक कंडीशन डालनी है. You have to check. अगर मैंने लिख लिया age has to be greater than 18, so whenever I am entering the value, it ensures it checks the condition whether age I have entered greater than 18. If it is not greater than 18, then the action will be aborted. So it checks every time whether the specified condition is satisfied or not. और डिफॉल्ट वैल्यू भी सेट कर सकते हैं किसी कॉलम के लिए. इफ देर इज नो वैल्यू सेट फॉर दैट कॉलम, at that time the default value will be taken. And there is index also which is used to create and retrieve the data from the table or from the database very quickly. So we can create the index on the column, some column. So these are the concepts we are going to study now. So we will study these one by one and the concept will be clear for you. अभी पहले मैं वन बाय वन आपको सब समझा देती हूँ. हाउ डज इट वर्क एंड what are these constraints and what is the exact syntax, how you have to write these or use these in your query. Or after that I'll just move to my database and I'll just show the examples and I'll give the demo to you. So first one is not null. So अगर आप बाय डिफॉल्ट देखें, अगर मैंने जो फुल नेम जो लिया है टेबल उसमें अगर आप एज कॉलम देखेंगे तो पहले वो सब नल 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 है. आफ्टर दैट आई एडेड एज कॉलम, सो वो नल अलाउड कर रहा है. अगर अभी भी मैं अगर या फर्स्ट नेम या लास्ट नेम या एज अगर मैं एंटर करती हूँ और किसी एक के लिए मैं वैल्यू नहीं भी डालूंगी ना तो भी it will take that value. By default, a column can hold a null value. But when you specify the column to be not null, like not null constraint enforces a column to not accept those null values. मतलब आप जब भी values enter कर रही है, अगर मैंने लिख लिया age not null, so it means that whenever you are entering, whether all of your columns may be null, whatever it is, but the constraint on which column it is following, no. मतलब जिस कॉलम पे मैंने नॉट नल कंस्ट्रेंट डाला है एज पे डाला है तो एज कैन नॉट बी नल. So this enforces a field to always contain a value. It should always hold some value, some or the other value, which means that you cannot insert a new record or update a record without adding a value to this field. इधर एक एग्जाम्पल है create table person id int not null, last name varchar not null, first name varchar not null, age int. सो इधर मैं मतलब ये जो भी एग्जांपल है इसमें 4 कॉलम्स है आईडी, लास्ट नेम, फर्स्ट नेम एंड एज. आईडी इज ऑफ द टाइप इंट, last name is of the type varchar, first name is of the type varchar and age is of the type int. So whenever you and there is not null constraint on these 3 columns, so whenever you are entering a value to this table, whenever you are inserting a values to this table, these 3 fields cannot be null. एज नल हो सकता है क्योंकि इस पे नॉट नल कंस्ट्रेंट नहीं है, बट these 3 columns has to contain some or the other value. So but not null constraint doesn't mean that it has to be unique. Same values हो सकती है but it has to have some value. इतना ही है नॉट नल. So I hope you understood not null concept. Next one is unique constraint. So unique constraint ensures that all values in a column are different. मतलब whenever you are adding this not null or not null नहीं भी है और just unique है, whenever you are saying that the column is unique, each value of the column has to be unique. अगर id column इधर मैंने create person same है table जो create किया था, सिर्फ इधर unique constraint डाला है id के ऊपर. So whenever I am saying this id to be unique, this means that whenever I am entering value to, मतलब अगर मैंने फर्स्ट में एंटर कर लिया ID1, लास्ट नेम टू बी पाटिल, फर्स्ट नेम श्रुति, एज 22, तो मैंने क्या लिया 1, लास्ट नेम इज पाटिल श्रुति 22. अगर मैंने और एक कॉलम इंसर्ट कर लिया ऑफ द टाइप, मतलब इधर भी अगर मैंने ID1 डाला तो इट विल नॉट टेक द वैल्यू. These can be same, like Shruti and Patil and age can be same, but the ID can't be same because the unique constraint is following. Like unique constraint डाला है इस column पे, तो each value of this column has to be unique, has to be different. So whenever you are inserting, that value has to be different. If you try to insert the same value, it will give an error that you are not following this constraint. Next one आता है primary key. And the primary key constraint uniquely identifies each record in a table. जो टेबल का एक रिकॉर्ड है, मतलब इधर है आईडी, लास्ट नेम, फर्स्ट नेम, एज, तो इसमें रिकॉर्ड्स रहेंगे. आईडी सोच लो 1, फर्स्ट नेम टू बी, सॉरी मैं फर्स्ट नेम लास्ट नेम बोलूंगी. सो आईडी श्रुति पाटिल 18, आईडी मतलब आईडी 1, देन 2 श्रुति पाटिल 19, देन 3 ऐश्वर्या पाटिल, सोच लो एज 20. तो जब भी मैं ऐसा बोल रही हूँ, और तो ये रिकॉर्ड जो है, ईच रिकॉर्ड जो यूनिकली आइडेंटिफाई करता है, मतलब एक रिकॉर्ड से दूसरे रो को, एक रो को दूसरे रो को, एक रिकॉर्ड या ये एक टपल को दूसरे टपल से जो डिफर करता है, मतलब जिस चीज से ये यूनिकली आइडेंटिफाई होता है, वो कंप्लीट रो, दैट इज नथिंग बट अ प्राइमरी की. एंड प्राइमरी की कंटेन्स अ यूनिक वैल्यू एंड इट कैन नॉट बी नल. जो पहले मैंने दो कंस्ट्रेंट्स बोले वे दोनों इसमें फॉलो होने चाहिए प्राइमरी की जब. और प्राइमरी की कैसे मेंशन होती है, आईडी इंट, अगर आप चाहे तो इधर भी लिख सकते हैं आईडी इंट प्राइमरी की कॉमा, पर आपको सोच लो दो कॉलम कंबाइन करके उसका प्राइमरी की बनाना है, लाइक आईडी कॉमा लास्ट नेम, तो आपको इधर लास्ट में लिखना है प्राइमरी की इन द ब्रैकेट वॉट एवर कॉलम यू वॉन्ट टू यूज यू कैन हैव दैट. एंड टेबल कैन हैव ओनली वन प्राइमरी की, एक ही प्राइमरी की होती है टेबल की, बट इट नीड नॉट बी सिंगल कॉलम. लाइक एक कॉलम होना जरूरी नहीं है, मल्टीपल कॉलम्स लेके भी आप एक आईडी या एक प्राइमरी की बना सकते हो. लाइक सोच लो मेरे पास है पर्सन नेम एंड एक और एक पर्सन नेम है और एक उसका रोल नंबर है या कुछ भी है, और मुझे चाहिए कि और रोल नंबर या फिर सोच लो रोल नंबर है एंड सब्जेक्ट्स है, तो रहेगा कि फर्स्ट रोल नंबर का जो बंदा है वो इंग्लिश एंड मैथ्स के लिए रजिस्टर्ड है, जो सेकेंड रोल नंबर का बंदा है वो, तो now it doesn't identify the column by roll number because the roll number is repeating for subjects. इंग्लिश के लिए भी रोल नंबर 1 ही रहेगा, इसके लिए भी रोल नंबर 1 ही रहेगा. तब आपको क्या करना है, प्राइमरी की आप एक कंबाइन कर सकते हैं, लाइक आईडी इधर जिधर लिखना है इधर आप कॉलम आपका चाहे रोल नंबर कॉमा सब्जेक्ट, इसे आप मल्टीपल कॉलम्स लेके भी प्राइमरी की बना सकते हो. So the primary key can be consist of a single or multiple columns. अब आप पूछेंगे कि यूनिक जो था उसमें भी इट आइडेंटिफाइज द कॉलम यूनिकली एंड प्राइमरी की भी सेम काम करता है, तो इसमें डिफरेंस क्या है. सो यूनिक वैल्यूज हो सकते हैं टेबल में. सोच लो मेरा एक एम्प्लॉय टेबल है जिसमें एम्प्लॉय आईडी है और एक है रोल नंबर, सोच लो कुछ भी एक रोल नंबर, तो फिर एम्प्लॉय आईडी भी यूनिक होता है, रोल नंबर भी यूनिक होता है, पर जो प्राइमरी की होता है वो एक ही होता है टेबल में. यूनिक रोज या फिर सॉरी यूनिक कॉलम्स बहुत सारे हो सकते हैं टेबल में, बट जो प्राइमरी की होता है वो ईच टेबल के लिए सिर्फ एक प्राइमरी की हो सकता है. लाइक आई कैन जस्ट राइट द कंस्ट्रेंट लेट क्रिएट टेबल पर्सन आईडी इंट नॉट नल यूनिक, ID has to be unique, last name varchar not null unique, last name has to be also unique, but I can't mention primary key for both the columns. There will be only one primary key for each table which identifies the records or a rows in a column uniquely. I hope the primary key concept is clear for you. So we can move further. That is foreign key. Foreign key भी क्या होता है? This is also a primary key. And ये जो एक दूसरे टेबल की प्राइमरी की रहती है जिसको आप रेफर करते हो. So a foreign key is a key used to link two tables together. So a foreign key is a field in one table that refers to the primary key in another table. So इस like इधर create table orders करके एक table है. So there is a field named which one, person ID. So there will be a field, this person ID, which refers to the primary key in the other table. So person, तो मैं आपको wait a second, I'll just explain this to you. So श्लो आपके पास दो टेबल है. One is orders and other one is person table. So orders table के columns क्या क्या है? Order ID, order number, person ID. And person table के columns क्या क्या है? Person ID, first name, last name. So orders में भी person ID है और person में भी person ID है. So you want to refer this person ID from this person table. So at that time what you will do, you will just refer, you will use the foreign key constraint, and by that you can refer the primary key of the other table. So the table containing the foreign key is called as the child table, and table containing the candidate key is called as the reference to the parent table. So अभी मैं आपको जब एग्जाम्पल में दिखाऊंगी तो आपको क्लियर आइडिया आ जाएगा. दिस फॉरेन की जस्ट नथिंग बट द, ये एक दूसरे दो टेबल रहते हैं जिसमें एक सेम कॉलम रहेगा. जो सेम कॉलम रहेगा वो दूसरे एक कॉलम का प्राइमरी की होता है. सोच लो, मतलब पर्सन आईडी इधर है, इधर पर्सन आईडी लिया है, यही पर्सन आईडी एक टेबल है जिसमें ये प्राइमरी की है. तो उसको आपको इधर रेफर करना है, तो आप क्या करेंगे, फॉरेन की पर्सन आईडी, जो भी आपको आईडी मतलब जो इसका कॉलम है वो, इट रेफरेंसेस दी पर्सन्स, म्हणजे पर्सन्स टेबल है इधर, और पर्सन्स टेबल का पर्सन आईडी ये रेफर करता है. I guess you understood. Yeah. Then we can move further and you will understand this whenever like when I'll show the demo to you much clearly. And next one is check constraint. And the check constraint is used to limit the value range that can be placed in the column. Like you can give some condition, you can check by that. So if you define a check constraint, a single column, it allows only certain values for this column. And if you define a check constraint on a table, it can limit the values in certain column based on the values in other columns in the row. Like इधर constraint डाला है check age greater than or equal to 18. So whenever you are adding inserting a row in this table, whenever you inserting a tuple in this table, age का इधर कुछ तो भी आप वैल्यू डालोगे. So at that time what it will do, it will check whether age is greater than or equal to 18, whether you have entered the age which follows this condition, which holds this condition. If not, your query will not be executed, it will give an error. And अगर ये successfully completed हुआ तो आपका operation भी successfully completed हो जाएगा. This is how you can add a check in your table while creating it. So next one is default, and the default constraint is used to provide some default value for the column. जब भी पर्सन या फिर एक हम लोग जब इंसर्ट करें वैल्यू, तब कुछ भी वैल्यू अगर नहीं डालेंगे तो ये वैल्यू, वो डिफॉल्ट वैल्यू जो सेट रहेगा वो वैल्यू ले लेगा. So the default value will be added to all the records if no value is specified. So अभी इधर create table में id, last name, age है, और इधर city है. city अगर आप जब values, this is not like not null constraint is not on this city column, मतलब इधर not null constraint नहीं है, तो user can skip this, like user can skip entering the value for the city. और जब user इधर city के लिए कुछ भी value नहीं डालेगा तो by default the city will be set to Bangalore. So this is how you can set the default values. Whenever the user doesn't enter any value for that column, it will take the default value. Then next is create index. The create index statement is used to create the indexes in the table or creating the indexes in particular column. And indexes are used to retrieve the data from the database more quickly, क्योंकि index जब यूज होता है बहुत ही easily, और आपको जो item चाहिए वो बहुत ही easily आप retrieve कर सकते हैं without doing much of the operations. If you are using other programming languages, if you know like C, C++, या फिर Java, Python, you will be using in for loop, you will using some index, you will understand the arrays में use होता है. तो मैं अभी उसके बारे में बात ज़्यादा नहीं करूँगी. But indexes are used to retrieve the data from the database more quickly than अदरवाइज, मतलब जैसे हम नॉर्मली करते हैं एक रो को आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए प्राइमरी की यूज करते हैं, या फिर उस पूरे टपल को या फिर वेयर कंडीशन में वो पूरा करने चाहे कि आप उस कॉलम पे इंडेक्स लगा दो और इंडेक्स से आपको जो इंडेक्स का आइटम चाहिए उसको रिट्रीव कर लो. द यूजर कैन नॉट सी द इंडेक्सेस, दे कैन जस्ट यूज टू स्पीड अप द सर्च क्वेरीज. सो आपको कैसे क्रिएट करना है? क्रिएट यूनिक इंडेक्स. आपको इधर इंडेक्स को एक नेम देना है, ऑन विच टेबल एंड ऑन विच कॉलम्स यू वांट टू ऐड दीज इंडेक्सेस. So whenever you want to drop the index, you can just write drop index name, whatever you gave over here, on which table you gave it over here, you can just write. Else you can just drop index and index name. That is also fine for some of the databases. So now I'll just go to my database and give the demo to you so that you will understand these things better. So what I'll do now, I'll just create the table name person over here now first. So create table, table name is person, and inside which I'll have the id column, which is of the type int, and I'll just write the constraint as not null for this. So this can't be null, and I'll just add one more column, that is name, and it is of the type varchar, and I'll just limit the number of characters to 50, and I'll not add any constraint on this. And after that I can have one more column named age int, and after that I can just have my primary key. So my primary key will be my id. So id has to be unique and not null. Not null I have already added, but anyhow when you mention primary key as id, so it will take into consideration that it has to be not null. So इसके बाद आता है, I will add check constraint, check, and here I'll add age greater than or equal to 5. That's it. So I'll just close this, and so if you can see this table has been created successfully. Now I'll try to insert some values. Insert into table, which is this table person, values, and I'll enter 1 and Shruti, and the age can be 18, something like that. So now if I try to add the same row, or I can change these values 20, and I'll just say SHRU. So you can see the name and age is different, but the ID is same. So you can't add a duplicate entry for primary. So this has to be unique. Primary key ensures that this has to be unique. So we get an error when we try to insert the duplicate values. So now I'll add some more values. 2 person ID, and after that person ID 3 for Dipti. Dipti's age is 23, and ID can be 4. Name can be same, age can be same, but whatever I have mentioned as the primary key, that has to be unique. Okay, so now I'll mention here as Sanvi. Age can be 6. So how many rows did I enter? 4. Okay, one more I'll enter. 5. I'll name it as Aishu. and age can be 20. Okay, just do the select star from the person table, select star from person, and if you can see we have three columns: id, name, and age, wherein we have 5 rows and each id is unique. So now I'll create one more table named orders, wherein I'll refer to this id from this table using foreign key constraint, and I'll just show that to you. So create table orders, and inside which the first this thing will be first column can be order id, and it will be of the type int and not null constraint. I can even have the unique constraint on this, and after that I'll just have the address. Okay, address, this is of the type varchar, and I'll just limit the number of characters to 100. And okay, order id and address, and one more will be PID, person id, and this will be of the type integer, and I'll just mention the primary key as order id, and after that I'll mention the foreign key, which is the foreign key PID, and which references person tables, which column, id column, and that's it. So this is how you have to write the foreign key. These all things you already know. So foreign key, I'll just explain this thing to you. So you have to write foreign key followed by which column you want to take it as foreign key from this like from this table, from the current table, what column you want to take it as foreign key. So the PID is the column which I want to take it as foreign key, and to which it refers. References ID column of the person table. Which column you have to write in the bracket, and references, beside references you have to write the table name. Foreign key, this PID column references ID column of person table. I think you got it now. So now I'll just add some of the values, insert into this table. Which table? Orders table, values, and uh, order ID, let me say 101, and address, let me say Bangalore, and this is varchar. Okay, and PID, so person ID I'll say 1. So when I say 1, this refers to this ID. So this is the order from Shruti and age 18. I hope you got it, because this refers to person ID 1. So who is person ID 1? These all details. So the next I'll just have the order ID 102 from Belgium, and person ID, let me say 3. I'll just have 3 rows over here, not to make it too complex. Like if I make the tables too complex, it will be like difficult for you to understand. Mumbai, and let me say person ID is 5. So this refers to the person ID 3, this person, and this refers to the person ID 5, this last person. So I just created these, like I inserted the values also. I'll just do the select star now. Select star from which table? From this orders table. So if you can see, we have 3 columns. Order ID, address, and PID, and order ID is the unique. PID also is unique, and PID can also like have more like can be have duplicate values, like there can be a person who orders more than one item. Let me just add that also. So order ID 104, let me say from Delhi, like order is to Delhi, and person ID 1. So there can be a person who orders more than one item. So this PID can be duplicate, but order ID has to be unique in this call, like in this table. So now I'll just to select star. So if you can see, this PID is like the person with PID 1 has more than one order IDs, like has more than one orders in basically I want to say that. So आपको अभी समझ में आ गया होगा कि ये क्या है, आपको प्राइमरी के क्या होती है, फॉरेन की क्या होती है, and these constraints are pretty much clear to you. So we can go further and study the joins, comments and all now. So let us study group by and having clause now. So the group by statement groups some rows that have the same values in a summary rows, like find the number of customers in each country. अगर बोलेंगे तो वो country wise customers को sort करेगा. And the group by statement is often used with aggregate functions, like count. जो aggregate functions है हमारे count, max, min, sum, average, इसके साथ हम usually group by statement को use करते हैं to group the results set by one or more columns. So here is the syntax. Select column name, whatever you want to select, from which table you want to select, where condition is optional as usual, but you can specify, and group by which column names you want to group it. And you can also have the order by clause over here. And after that, there is a having clause also. The having clause was added to SQL because where keyword could not be used with these aggregate functions like count, max, min, sum, average. You can't have these aggregate functions in the where condition. Here you can't have this. So we have the having clause, and it is used with the combination with the group by statement. सो जब भी ग्रुप बाय स्टेटमेंट होता है उसके बाद में हैविंग करके आप एक कुछ भी कंडीशन लिख सकते हैं, जैसे आपने ऑर्डर बाय उधर लिया था इधर भी ले सकते हैं, बट ऑर्डर बाय इज अगेन ऑप्शनल. So let's go to the database and see how we can do this. We will do this on the orders table. So we'll do select PID from which table, from orders table, and directly I write group by. So I can just write here group by PID. Now when I group it by PID, if you can see 1, 3 and 5. These are the three groups you will see. So we have three PIDs here, 1, 3, 5 and 1. 1 is repeated, but if we group, there will be three groups when the PID is 1, when the PID is 3 and when the PID is 5. Now I'll show you how you can group it like using two columns. PID comma order ID you can take from orders table again, and here you will group by PID comma order ID, and also you can just do use order by clause, order by PID. So now if you can see, we have these groups, like when the PID is 1 and order ID is 101. When the PID is 1, order ID is this, then 3, then 5, and we have ordered it using the PID, and this is by default ordered in the ascending order. This is how you can group using 2 and more columns. And this is when you have used only one column, there will be only 3 groups, but when you are using clubbing these columns, there will be 4 groups, because this differs, like 1 and 101, 1 and 104, there will be 2 groups when you use it with the order ID or any other column. So now I'll just use it with the having clause also. So select PID. Now what I'll do, select PID from the orders table, and I'll just group by PID. Now if I execute only this, there will be three groups. Okay, these three groups will be there, 1, 3 and 5. But I'll just write the condition like having count is the aggregate function I am using, having count of PID, मतलब ये PID का count निकालेगा, PID equal to 2. अभी देखो इधर आप इस टेबल को देखो. So what I have written, PID से ये ग्रुप करेगा, so there will be three groups 1, 3 and 5. फिर ये काउंट करेगा कि each PID कितनी है. So ये PID 1 कितनी बार है, 2 बार है, PID 3 कितनी बार है, 1 बार है, और 5 भी 1 बार है. So I have written having the count of PID, it will count the PID equal to 2. Equal to 2 count PID का किए तो सिर्फ एक कॉलम है जो जिसका PID 2 आता है, so that is 1. So if I execute this now, so if you can see there is only one row that is returning to me because there is only one PID which has count 2. So this is how you have to use the group by and having clause. I hope you got this. So next हम पढ़ेंगे comments. So comments are also one of the important concept. जब आप किसी को अपना कोड दे रहे हो तो you need not explain the things because अगर कमेंट में आपने सारी चीज़ें एक्सप्लेन कर चुकी है तो they'll understand themselves. और अगर आपने कुछ कोड अभी लिख लिया और 1 साल बाद आप पढ़ रहे हो so you need not regain and आपके माइंड पे प्रेशर डालने की ज़रूरत नहीं है क्योंकि अगर आपने कमेंट्स में इसका एक्सप्लेनेशन लिखा है तो you will understand the things in a better way. So comments are used to explain the sections of SQL statement or to prevent the execution of SQL statements. So there are two types of comments, single line and multi-line. So single line comment starts with this dash dash and anything you write between this dash dash and end of that line will be ignored by your compiler and will not be executed. So here is the example, dash dash select all. This line will be ignored and the line below this will be executed because this is a single line comment. And there is also a multi-line comment wherein you want to comment more than one lines. So at that time we have to use this slash star at the beginning, at the start, and you have to start the comment by this slash beginning and end it with star and slash. So anything you write between this will be ignored by your compiler and whatever you write after that or above this will be executed by your compiler. So I'll just go to my SQL prompt and I'll just show this to you. So if I write here select all, so it is just ignored by the compiler because this is a comment. Now if I write select star from person, now this is executed because this is not a comment. I will just show you the multi-line comment also. Select all. Okay. So these two lines will be ignored by your compiler and after that whatever you write will be executed. So this is how the commenting works. They are very helpful in understanding the concept or letting your code if giving someone, whenever you are giving it to someone, it will be more beneficial to them. So the next concept is SQL join, and this one is also the one of the major and one of the important concept in SQL. So the join clause is used to combine the rows from two or more tables and it is joined based on a related column between them. So सोच लो, let's look at the selection from the order table. It has the columns like order ID, customer ID and order date. And then look at this customer table which has customer ID, customer name, contact name and country. So the customer ID like column is common between these two tables. So you can have the join based on the related column. Which one is the related column here? The customer ID is the related column over here. So you can join based on that two tables. So notice that the customer ID column in the orders table refers to the customer ID in the customer table and the relationship between the two tables above is the customer ID column क्योंकि वो जो है column वो दोनों tables में है. and then we can create the SQL statement, and we can join the two tables like this. Select whatever columns you want to select, and from orders I want to select the the rows or the data from the orders table, and I'm just adding the inner join operation on customers. Inner join customers on orders, जो मतलब order dot customer id equals to customers dot customer id. अभी जो inner join है या फिर outer join, you will understand these things. Don't worry about these things so much now. So different types of joins हम देखेंगे पहले. There are 4 types of joins we are going to study. That is inner join or join. It is also called as only join. You can also mention it as inner join. Then there is left join. You can also call it as left outer join. Then there is right join. You can also call it right outer join. Then there is full join or full outer join. So the inner join returns the records that have matching values in both tables. Like table 1 है और table 2 है, और इनमें जो matching values है, this बीच का जो ये part आता है, this is nothing but the common values in both the table. So inner join जब भी आप बोलेंगे या फिर सिर्फ join लिखेंगे, तो जो common values है which have the matching values, those will be retrieved. अगर लेफ्ट आउटर ज्वाइन बोला तो लेफ्ट का टेबल फुल आएगा, रिटर्न्स ऑल द रिकॉर्ड फ्रॉम द लेफ्ट टेबल एंड द मैच्ड रिकॉर्ड फ्रॉम द राइट टेबल. ये बीच का पार्ट आएगा, प्लस जो लेफ्ट टेबल है वो फुल मिलेगा. एंड राइट ज्वाइन बोलेंगे तो सेम, बट इट विल बी अपोजिट. लाइक राइट का पूरा टेबल मिलेगा एंड द मैच्ड वैल्यूज मिलेंगे. एंड व्हेन यू से फुल ज्वाइन और फुल आउटर ज्वाइन, इट रिटर्न्स दी ऑल द रिकॉर्ड्स व्हेन देयर इज मैच इन आइदर लेफ्ट और राइट टेबल. अगर एक भी मैच है लेफ्ट इन राइट टेबल में, तो वो फुल रिकॉर्ड आपको मिलेगा. So now we will study each one of these one by one. We'll understand syntax and then understand the examples, take the examples and understand these in a better way now. So the first one we have is inner join on, or we can say only join also. So inner join keyword selects records that have matching values in both the tables. जो टेबल 1 और टेबल 2 के मैचिंग वैल्यूज है, जो बीच का पार्ट है इधर जो मैचिंग वैल्यूज आती है, ये वो रिट्रीव करता है. So these are the same or matching values between these two tables. So here is the syntax. Select column names whatever you want to select from the table 1, and you have to have the inner join, or you can also mention the join keyword. Inner join or join table 2 on, you want to have the inner join on table 2 on which, like column, there will be a column which will be same between these both the tables, and you want to have the join based on that column which is same between these two. So I'll just show the example so that you'll understand this. Already we have the orders table and persons table in which the ID column is same because the PID refers to the ID from the first table. So persons table. So I'll just write select ID comma name from person table and inner join this orders table on what? On ID equal to PID. So these are the rows which are retrieved to you based on the similar values. So this is how we do the inner join operation. So हमने क्या किया, हमने ID और name को select कर लिया इसमें से, and from the person table, and we are having the inner join on orders table based on this condition, based on this column which is similar or which is same between these two tables. So ये जो बीच के values है which are similar will be retrieved to us. So the next one we have is left join जिसमें table 1 पूरा का पूरा आता है और table 2 के वही values आते हैं which have these matched values. अगर सोच लो इन दोनों टेबल में कोई भी मैच नहीं है, कोई भी मैचिंग वैल्यू नहीं है, तो टेबल 2 null रहेगा, सिर्फ टेबल 1 रिट्रीव होगा. So the left join keyword returns all the records from the left table, that is table 1, and matched records from the right table, that is table 2, and the result is null from the right side if there is no match. सो जो सिंटैक्स है वो सेम रहेगा, सिर्फ इधर का जो इधर मैंने इनर जॉइन लिखा था उधर लेफ्ट जॉइन आएगा, रेस्ट ऑल थिंग्स रिमेन्स सेम. So I'll just go to my database and just do the select id comma this name, from which table, from the person table, and we can have left join on left join this thing, what orders on id equal to pid. सो अभी मुझे लेफ्ट का जो टेबल है उसमें से पूरे वैल्यूज मिलेंगे और राइट में से वही वैल्यूज मिलेंगे विच हैव दी मैचिंग वैल्यूज. सो वी कैन मूव फर्दर एंड स्टडी राइट जॉइन. What I'll do, I'll just do the select star from person table so that you will understand, and select star from orders also. So if you can see now, मुझे 1 2 3 4 5 ये पांचों आईडीज है और ये सारे नेम्स है इधर, बिकॉज लेफ्ट का टेबल पूरा आएगा, but it will contain only the rows which have matching values like first, third, 5 और 1. अगर सोच लो इस ऑर्डर्स में और एक पीआईडी है जिसकी आईडी 6 है तो वो इधर रिट्रीव नहीं होगा बिकॉज दैट डजंट हैव द वैल्यू इन दिस फर्स्ट टेबल. आई थिंक यू गॉट दिस पॉइंट नाउ. Now we'll study the right join. So the right join is also same, but the only difference is right का table पूरा आएगा और left के सिर्फ matching values आएंगे. So the right join keyword returns all the records from the right table, table 2, and the matched record from the table 1, and result is null if there is from the left side if there is no match. इधर भी सिर्फ ये right keyword जो है वो change होगा और rest all things remain same. So अभी इधर आपको वो समझ में आएगा जो मैं बोल रही थी अभी अभी. So इधर लिखेंगे select id comma name, from which table, from the person table, and I want to do the right join. Yes, right join orders on id equal to pid. Now if you can see, मुझे राइट का टेबल पूरा मिलेगा, राइट में से आईडी जो भी है वो पूरे आएंगे, लाइक आईडी और नेम चाहिए पर राइट में से जो ऑलरेडी अवेलेबल राइट में है वही मिलेंगे, मतलब 1 3 एंड 5 राइट टेबल में ऑलरेडी है तो सिर्फ वही मिलेंगे, एंड बाकी का नेम सिर्फ उसी का मिलेगा जिसका मतलब इधर पीआईडी है. सो राइट का टेबल पूरा का पूरा आया, राइट के जो भी आईडीज है वो मिलेंगे और उसके जो करस्पॉन्डिंग वैल्यूज इसमें अवेलेबल है वो मिलेंगे. I'll not get the complete IDs from the left table. I'll get the IDs, all the IDs from the right table and matching IDs from this ID table. I think this concept is clear to you now. So the next one is full outer join keyword, and full outer join keyword returns all the records when there is a match between this left and right. अगर एक भी match इधर है तो it will return complete record. And full outer join can potentially return very large data set because दोनों टेबल completely मिल रहे हैं हमको, तो obviously it will be a large database data set or result set. And full outer join and full join are the same, so you can write full outer join also and you can write the full join also. These both are the same. जैसे मैंने inner join के लिए बोला inner join लिख सकते हो या फिर join लिख सकते हो, वैसे full outer join or you can also write full join. So here also only the keyword changes, rest all things remains. So now I'll select ID from the person table and this address from this orders table. आप दोनों टेबल में से वैल्यूज इधर सिलेक्ट कर सकते हो, ऐसा नहीं कि जिसमें फ्रॉम इधर लिखा है वही टेबल चाहिए, दोनों टेबल में से वैल्यूज हो सकते हैं. And I'm just writing full join. So this is the result. So there is also a concept of self joining. A self joining is also a regular join, but the table is joined with itself. मतलब सिलेक्ट आप कॉलम नेम्स करने हैं फ्रॉम टेबल 1 टेबल 2 वेयर कंडीशन लिखना है, इसमें आप ज्वाइन कीवर्ड का यूज नहीं करोगे. So this will also return the matching values between the both the tables, and whatever columns you want to select, and you can also have the columns from both the tables here also, and you have to just mention the condition. Inside condition you have to write that column which has the same column between these both table. So I can just go here and show that to you. So select, मैं इधर लिख लूंगी id comma address, id from persons table and address is from the uh, orders table, and from which table, from person, and which all table I'm like the data is from which all tables, person table and orders table, and I just have to mention the where condition where id equals PID. So this is how it returns the values. It returns the values of ID and addresses from these tables, from both the tables using the join operation, but it doesn't have the join word. It's called as self join. So you use these operations moreover, I can say. So the next thing we are studying is union operator, and union operator is used to combine the result set of two or more select statements. आप क्या करेंगे, select statement लिखेंगे, दो अलग अलग होंगे या फिर दो से ज़्यादा अलग अलग होंगे, उसके बीच में आप union लिखेंगे, तो it will combine the result set of those two select statements. But it works provided that union must have the same number of columns, and the column must also have the similar data type, and the column in each select statement must also be in the same order. like आपने लिख लिया select id comma name union, तो नीचे भी आपका select id comma अगर एड्रेस है तो चलेगा, बट लाइक इट शुड बी इन अ सेम ऑर्डर एंड सेम डेटा टाइप होना चाहिए एंड सेम नंबर ऑफ कॉलम्स होने चाहिए जो आप सिलेक्ट कर रहे हो दोनों टेबल्स में. So this is how it works. So the syntax look like just select column names from table 1, आप select columns from table 2, ऐसे आप दो separate select statements लिखेंगे और उसके बीच में union लिखेंगे to combine the result set of these two different operations, two different select statements. And by default क्या होता है, union operator selects only the distinct values. And अगर आपको duplicate values भी चाहिए तो you have to write this union all keyword. So instead of union you have to write union all, which will combine, like which will take duplicate entries also. So we will just go to our database now, and I'll just try to select star from, sorry, I'll just use select id from person, and I'll just use the keyword union, and I'll write select PID from orders. Okay, so if you can see, the IDs have been printed here, but the duplicate IDs are not here. But if I write like select this, then union all, and okay, so if you can see, 1 2 3 4 5 are the IDs from the first table, and 1 1 3 5 are the IDs from the different second table, that is orders table. So it has the duplicate entries because I have used union all. But this first table, what it will do, it will first print all the IDs from the first table. Then while printing the second table IDs, it will check whether that ID is already present in this table. If it is present, then it will not print once again. If it is not present, then it will print. But here, irrespective of whether it is present in the first table or not, it will print all the IDs, all the duplicate IDs also. So this is how union works, and this is how you can combine the result set from the two different select statement. Next is the exist operator, and the exist operator is used to test for the existence of any record in a subquery. Like the exist operator returns true if the subquery returns one or more record. तो आप इधर देख लो select column names from table where exist this. So it will return true only if this subquery returns one or more records. So this is how you have to use. You have to use this exist in the where condition. After that, you have to write your subquery. I'll show the example so that you will understand this in a better way. So I'll just write a select statement. Select ID from person table. Okay. And where exist, and here I'll write my subquery. Select ID from orders table. Okay. So what it will do, it will return true if this statement is true. Like if this statement is returning some values, or if this statement returns some values, or it will return one or more records. So this is how exist works. So the next one we have is any and all operator, and it is used with the where or the having clause. And any operator returns true if any of the subquery values meet the condition, and all operator returns true if all the subquery values meet the condition. As you know, when you write subquery, first the subquery will be executed, will get the values of the subquery, and after that the main query will be executed based on some condition, whatever you write. So here is the syntax. Select columns from table, where you have to write the column name, operator, and any, and then you have to write your subquery. So what will happen, first the subquery will get executed. Let's say I have just written select id from persons table, where id greater than any of this, select PID from orders table. And as you know, I have only 3 IDs in the orders table, 1, 3 and 5. And I have 5 IDs in persons table, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when I say where ID greater than any of this, so it will first check for 1, whether any of these IDs are greater than 1. So 2, 3, 4 and 5 are greater than 1. So it will execute 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will check for 3, it will check for 5 also. Any of the IDs greater than 5? No. If any of the IDs are greater than 3, yes, 4 and 5. So they are already there in the list. So if any of the condition is true, like if the condition is true for any of these values, then it will get executed, but it's not true for this. So when you write select id from table, where then id greater than all of this, then the id which is present here have to be greater than all the values inside this. Like if I write id is 1, 3 and 5, so whatever id is here, it will check first id is 1, it will check whether 1 is greater than 1, 1 is greater than 3, 1 is greater than 5. No, so 1 will not be there in the list. Then it will check with 2, whether 2 is greater than 1, yes, but 2 is not greater than 3, not greater than 5, so it will not get executed. So the value has to be greater than all of the values inside the list, so it has to follow for all the values. I hope you got this point. Any returns true if any of the value is meets the condition, and all returns true if all the subquery values meet the condition. So we can just go to our database and just write a query. Select id from which table? From persons table, sorry, person table, and I'll just write where id greater than any of what? I'll just write subquery here now. Select PID, PID from orders table. Now what it will do? First it will execute this query. Select PID from orders, which will return what all PIDs I have, 1, 3 and 5. Then it will execute the select ID from person. So these are the IDs I'll get. So after that, it will check whether ID is greater than any of these IDs. So when it goes here, select ID from person, first one, whether it's greater than any of the IDs of which are present here, whether one is greater than 1, 1 is greater than 3, 1 is greater than 5, no. So 1 will not be there in the list. Then it will go for 2. So whether 2 is greater than any of the IDs present here. Whether 2 is greater than 1, yes. So 2 will be executed because 2 is greater than 1. If it follows any of the values also, then it will execute. So this is the result set. I hope you got this point. And all works when all the condition meets. Like the values, like the subquery values meet all the subquery values meet the condition. So the next one we have is stored procedure, and it's like functions which you use in C, C++ और Java, Python. आप क्या करते हैं, जब भी आपको एक ऑपरेशन है जो बार बार परफॉर्म करना है तो आपको उस ऑपरेशन के लिए एक फंक्शन लिखना है, और उसके बाद जब भी आपको वही सेम ऑपरेशन चाहिए तो इंस्टेड ऑफ राइटिंग द सेम कोड अगेन एंड अगेन यू विल जस्ट राइट, like you will just call that function, right? So that the same operation can be carried out in SQL using the stored procedure. So the stored procedure is a prepared SQL code that you can use and that you can save, and so that the code can be reused over and over again. So if you have an SQL query that you write over and over again, so you can add that SQL query to your stored procedure, and after that whenever you want to execute that same query, you can just call the stored procedure and execute it. So you can also have the parameterized stored procedure, like you can also pass the parameters to the stored procedure so that the stored procedure can act based on the parameter values that you have passed. So this is how you have to write your procedure. You have to just write create procedure. After that you have to give the name to your procedure and as, and you have to write your SQL statement whatever you want to write over here, and after that you have to write go and semicolon. So this SQL statement is the one which you want to execute over and over again. So instead of writing that statement, what you will do, you will just call this procedure and execute it. Now how you will execute this procedure is using this exec, and you have to give the procedure name. So the procedure name is same whatever you gave while the creating the procedure. So this is how stored procedure works. And the last concept whatever we are going to study is view. View is nothing but a virtual table that you create. In SQL, view is a virtual table based on the result set of a SQL statement. So the view contains rows and columns just like a real table, and the fields in a view are fields from the one or more real tables in the database. So you can add SQL functions like where and join statements to a view and present the data as if the data were coming from the one single table. सो अगर आपको दो टेबल है और उनका एक ही टेबल चाहिए, उनका एक टेबल चाहिए, और तब आपको क्या करना है, एक व्यू क्रिएट करना है. सो क्रिएट व्यू, व्यू नेम लिखना है एज, and whatever operation you want to write you can just add it over here. Select column names from those tables and from whichever table you selected and where condition you have to write, and after that it will present as if this is a single table and the data is coming from the single table, not multiple tables. And you can use like do all the operations as you do on the table on this view also, like select star from this view name whatever you gave over here. Then you can use where condition, you can use the operators like count, then average, those aggregate functions, and all other operations like group by, having clause, anything you can do on the view also. This is a virtual table and it presents itself as is a single table wherein the data comes from multiple tables or single table, anything like that. So I'll just go to my database now. So currently in my person table there are three rows, or sorry, there are three columns, that is ID, name and age. But for some operation, let's say I want only two columns, that is ID and age. So what I'll do, and I want to take that as in a table and do some operations, so I'll just create a view. So what I'll write, create view, and view name I'll give temp. Okay, view name temp as. So what I want, select ID, comma age, from which table? From person table. That's it. So whatever operations you did here will be created as a table, will be created as a temporary table, virtual table as in the view. So this got executed. Now I can do the operation on this temp view. So temp is nothing but a temporary table. You can just think of this like that. Not a temporary table, but a virtual table. So I can just do select star from this temp as you do for other tables. Same way. So if you can see, this presents itself as a table and you can see ID and age has been given to me. So this is a separate table. This is a virtual table created by us using the view concept. So this is how view works. So this is it for the SQL tutorial. I hope this information, whatever I provided, the tutorial was useful to you. And if you think this video was really helpful to you in some other way, then please subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, happy coding.